Right, hello, welcome back to the channel. I'm going to call it the channel now because I've now reached 1,000 subscribers and I think it's earned the title the channel. So if you are a subscriber, thank you very much, but also that means there's now going to be adverts, so I hope you don't mind, but that's kind of part of the process, I guess. Anyway, don't be too deflated. See what I did there? This is a tyre pressure video. Right, I'm no expert on this subject matter, as I probably start a lot of my videos, but anyway, recently I've been struggling with tyre pressure in the rear tyre, and I've been setting it up with my Joe Blow, getting it on a ride and finding that it's usually too hard, and then letting a bit of air out, maybe finding it's too low, whatever, finding a happy medium, and then maybe getting a little bit of a tyre burp or something, and not quite knowing where I'm getting it, where I'm setting the tyre pressure. So I've just bought a Topeak D2, which is a smart tyre pressure gauge, and obviously this is just something I could just take out with me, and I can keep an eye on my tyre pressures while I'm out. So effectively, I guess there's a sweet spot for tyres, and there's going to be a sweet spot for a different tyre, for a different rider, for different riding conditions. So on this bike, for instance, I've got a speed grip tyre on the back, and I've got a soft grip tyre on the front. Two different types of compounds means that you should run two different types of pressures. So this is a firmer casing, a stronger casing on this tyre, then really you need to run lower pressures, because the stronger the tyre, the smaller the sort of contact point, because the less it'll deform. So you want to put less air in it, so it'll deform more to give you more grip. If there is a softer tyre on the front, then you need to put perhaps a little bit more pressure than a firmer compound tyre, because otherwise you've got less support within the tyre itself. So that aside, I think what I need to do with this rear one is actually reseat the tyre, retape the wheel, change the valve over. This valve's been on here for about 2 years now, so I think the little rubber grommet there is shifted out of place. So I'm losing a bit of air on the back tyre, and that's causing me to overinflate it at the beginning of a ride and then effectively faff about it throughout a ride. And if I'm out for say 3 hours and I don't touch it, the tyre pressure is probably changed by at least 5 psi from the start to the end of the ride. So that's where this comes in. I'm rambling way too much, and what I'm going to do is just show you super quickly what this does. So using the gauge on the track pump, I set this to about 25 psi, that little yellow diamond marker there, and then pump the tyre up. And if I switch this gauge on now by pressing the power button, obviously you can see I've got 0 psi to start with. So there, that says 22 psi. So that's probably not a bad pressure for this tyre. As you can see, it's pretty firm, so that gives me some grip, but also not too much drag when I'm riding mostly sort of trails at the moment. But just give you an idea what this does. So obviously if I'm out riding, I don't have the luxury of the big track pump. I've only got my my little rocket race rocket. I can never still get this the right way around. Race rocket, which doesn't have a pressure meter on. For about the last 10 years, all I've done is about the last 10 years of riding, I've just gone, yeah, that feels fine. But I don't know whether my riding's improving, or because these tyres are a bigger volume, or because I'm riding the same bike on the same trails quite a lot more regularly. I'm noticing subtle differences in the tyre pressure more. So the Topeak Smart Guage D2, this was only $21.99 on Amazon. I thought it was quite a good investment to take out on the trails, and keep an eye on my tyre pressures and try and get some better idea what works and what doesn't work, and then I know hopefully I can use this to set it up properly before I go out, and then this will just be backup. Anyway, let's just show you quickly how it works. So this rotates just so that you can fit it on nice and easily, and view this at various angles. We've got Schrader and Presta settings. Obviously we're on Presta here. We've got an air release valve if I need to take some air out. We've got units so I can switch between bars and PSIs, power, and obviously on and off and resetting, and then tuning. So I'll show you how this works now. So let's switch it on. So we've got 0 PSI because there's nothing affecting the valve here, and let's pop it on. Make sure I can see, or make sure you can see more to the point. Right, there we go. So if we pop that on there, it says 21 PSI. So if I haven't deleted the previous bit of footage, you'll see I've already lost 1 PSI with popping this on and off a couple of times. So you've got to be a little bit careful. So let's just assume that I want to drop a couple of PSI out of this because I'm not getting the grip that I want. We're at 21. Let's pop this back on. We now press the tune button and we can release some air. Here we go, I'm down to 20. Let's just say I'm aiming for, it says 19 PSI, so we'll reset that and we'll just check it again. 19 PSI. So I'm quite confident that I've set this tyre to 19 PSI now. If I know that that works for me in this tyre and I'm having problems while I'm out on the trail, I know I can come back to this, I can pop some air in, and then I can adjust it using this to get it back down to 19 PSI. And obviously if you're operating on 19 PSI, something like 17 PSI is going to be more than like a 10% change in the tyre pressure, which might not sound like much, but when you start cornering, hitting loose gravel, I think tyre pressure is going to come into play a lot more. So giving this a bit of a use over the coming weeks and see if I can settle on some tyre pressures, and I'll do some feedback, let you know how I get on with this. But for 21 quid, I think that's a really good buy to keep an eye on your tyre pressures while you're out and about, especially as psychologically the pressure, specifically in the rear tyre, has been really giving me a bit of jip recently. So yeah, anyway, if you like this, or if you've got any questions, or if you've got any advice on tyre pressures yourself, I am running tubeless, by the way, then leave some comments below, and yeah, if you've got one of these, let me know what you think. I'll put a link below where you can buy one, and if you do buy one from the affiliate link, I might get a few pennies. Yeah, anyway, I'll see you in another video really soon. Cheers.